Okay. I came across some shocking statistics, which you can tell from the from the title of this live stream. Um, and I don't know what to say. I for some reason, I heard about the Young Earth movement in the USA, but I thought it was a like a fringe um, thing that just a few religious fanatics believed in that and so on. And then I saw something like a video clip. They ask representatives in the American USA Congress, um, how old is the Earth, and the woman there said 2,000 years old, and I thought that was AI. I thought it was like not real. Um, and I don't know why this says why I haven't discovered this, why I didn't know. But the statistics are shocking. And I guess a lot of you guys already know, but I didn't. I didn't. So according to, let's say, where is this? Which I'll just give you quickly the source here. Okay. Which poll is it? I would like to refer to the right poll. Yeah, a Gallup poll. And this has been going on since the 80s. And it's now around 44%. 44, almost half of the population in the USA believe that the Earth is less than 10,000 years old. So that could mean 2,000, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000. You know, less than 10,000 years old. And I like, what? Is this a joke? But no, apparently, many other polls. There was a PUW poll about this as well, and it's pretty much the same number. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Honestly, I have never met anyone who believe that, and then you start thinking, why is that? Obviously, it's like a Christian thing. God created the earth and so on, and we can discuss the origin of the universe, the origin of life, and all that. And I'm not a scientist, so and I don't know. So I think it's a very interesting discussion to have. Is it like it was like sparked by a divine power, and then life began, or was the universe sparked or created by divine power when back millions, billions of of years ago? Um, but I do know that that there are many ways to um, um, measure the age of the universe. It has to do with the light and radiation and things like that. And I'm not the right person to explain that because I don't really know. But there are people who have that as their profession, and yeah. But what I do know is that I know a little bit about history. I don't know all numbers and statistics and all the information by heart. So I shamefully, I have to admit, I used Google on this one, actually, just convenience, just out of convenience. So and I don't know the number in other countries, but let's just hope that this is a peculiar American thing. I would guess it's much lower in Canada, but I don't know. So let me give you some numbers here. You heard about the Holmegård bow, like bow and arrow, the Holmegård bow. It's used as a model for many, people like me. We like to make bows, historical bows, and that one was made from elm, and it was discovered in a peat bog in Denmark, and 7,000 BC or BCE, so that's 9,000 years ago. That's a bow. So yeah, you could say that, well, the Christian God created the earth 10,000 years ago, and it took humans 1,000 years to come up with a design for an effective hunting bow. But let's move on here. Soap. I knew, because I had to find out, years ago, did the Vikings have soap? Yes, of course they did, of course. But I needed to, when I first investigated, I needed to know where soap came from. And it's very old. Earliest evidence, that's Babylon, 2,800 BCE. So that's almost 5,000 years ago. And glue. This is the most interesting one, because I made a couple of videos, or maybe just one, where I make glue. You could say that I haven't perfected that, but you can make glue, And there is evidence that the Neanderthals made glue. It makes sense, because it back then they had to find out a way to make things stick together, like the handle on stuff and so on. The Neanderthals were not primitive people, by the way. So glue is at least 200,000 years old. And we could go on and on about this. I'm going to keep this live stream short because I'm hungry and I haven't had my breakfast yet. But what else do you believe if you believe that the Earth is less than 10,000 years old? First of all, it means that you do not know anything about human history, or, well, you think that you know, but you would have to compress all of known human history into those 10,000 years. It would be very action-packed. That would be like a history for those with short attention span. All the wars, all the emigrations, and all of that into 10,000 years. So you could say, yeah, that's like, that would be, it's very action-packed, as I said. But it's impossible. So you would have to disregard most of human history. For instance, at one time there were several humanoid species walking the earth at the same time, and we are still finding out. Well, I'm saying we like I'm a scientist here, but people work on a daily basis finding out more about what happened and how did it become so that Homo sapiens, our species, became successful and dominated, and what happened to the other species of hominids or whatever. So you'll have to excuse my pronunciation here. I'm Norwegian. And you have to disregard all of that, and I guess, replace it with a collection of myths. Because let's face it, like the Bible is a collection of myths. Nobody walked on the water, and the flood, which is a very common theme in ancient mythologies. Um, there is no evidence for such a flood like that, and also there is no logic in it. But yeah, have there been floods, devastating floods? Yes, of course, several times up through history, and people probably thought it was the end of the world. You know, so yeah, I knew about someone's writing. Kat, thank you. The Noah's Ark Museum in the USA, which is it, it's something that we laugh about here in Norway, um, and I maybe we shouldn't laugh because people take it seriously, and I've, I believe it must be difficult to be a teacher in the USA, and you have to deal with kids who may be at home like 44%, and then you have to teach kids about real history, real human history, the continental drifts, and all of that, and back home they're saying no, that's not true. The Earth is I don't know, 5,000 years old. And then you have these representatives in the Congress believing in this. What else do they believe in? How does that affect their politics and how they make decisions? It's kind of scary when you start thinking about it. So this is like, I'm a Norse pagan, and you have, hold on, oh, over there, Odin and Thor and all of that. Yeah, they are here with us. But I don't believe that Odin created the earth, as it says described in the Edda. That's because my belief system is not. It's not necessary to believe in ancient myths in order for me to have that belief system. It's not about believing in what people long time ago believed in. I mean, there are many things that we don't understand now, and people 500 years from now, if there are still human beings, then 500 years from now, they will look at us, or the memory of us, and they will say, "Can you believe how naive they were? How come they didn't understand that?" And someone will say, "Well, you have to understand, they were not as they didn't understand the world like we do." And at the same way as we are now looking back in history, and we shouldn't disregard those people, but we have to understand that while they were intelligent and resourceful, science is actually a cumulative. It gathers on top of each other, right? It's a cumulative, excuse my pronunciation, process. So here's the science that this guy did, or this girl did, and someone else does more science, and it builds on top of that. And, but yeah, this is just mostly unprepared here on my account, but I was shocked because I did not know. I did not know. And what I don't know, about Donald Trump, the president of the USA, as we speak. I don't see him as a very religious person. He is pretending to be. But imagine if he said that, well, we all know the Earth is very, very old. I'm not going to do a Trump impersonation now, but it's the oldest Earth. It's yeah, and all of that. So he would lose probably the support from a core audience, so to speak, a core voter base there. That's my guess. Someone's writing here, science is a hypnosis. Okay. No, it's not. It's not. And I don't know. I tend to believe that many of these crazy ideas come from people who are detached from nature. I tend to believe that these are people who live their lives in a very comfortable way. And they don't connect with history, ancestry, nature. They might say that, like Americans say, oh, I'm Irish because the grandfather came from Ireland, something like that. But I'm talking about your ancestry going back hundreds of years. And it's difficult for me as someone who's very curious about things. It's difficult for me to understand what it takes to be so closed, narrow-minded. I think is the word, narrow-minded. So you have basically one book, which was heavily edited. It's a collection of myths, but it's like that's what you have decided is the truth. And at the same time, you're saying that you're a skeptic. How can you say that? You're not being a skeptic. You're the opposite of that. Someone wrote here, the how to science is the question. Exactly. Yeah. So I just do this. I throw up my hands. But honestly, here's the thing. You need to make sure that people who believe that who believe in the young Earth idea, those people should not be making decisions for the nation. Because those people are stupid. That's the simplest way I can put it, okay? As I said, it's a very interesting philosophical discussion on, what sparked life and what sparked the universe and so on. And we will never find the real answer. Well, maybe scientists will find out, even more about the beginning of the universe, and I'm honestly not completely up to date on that. But however you see it, that's a very different discussion from discussing, or not discussing, but just stating that the Earth is less than 10,000 years old. And then you have in the USA, as I said, according to this poll here, 44% of the population believing that the Earth is less than 10,000 years old. And honestly, looking at the USA, when you have statistics like that, honestly, it makes you, sorry not you, but it makes the nation of the USA. It makes it look like some third world country where the religious fundamentalists have taken control and girls are not allowed in school and all of that. It makes it look a little bit like that. So Jesus, sorry. um, and I had to check, of course, is this just nonsense on the internet? No, there are several polls on this, and it's about 40%, 44%, and it's been quite constant for a few years, apparently. Um, and I think, just on a personal note here, would I have, if I had grown up in a very strict religious context, and people had told me that the earth is like, let's say, 7,000 years old, and I was taken, if I had been taken to the Noah's Ark museums where there are dinosaurs along with tigers and stuff, would I have believed in that? Who knows? I don't think so. I don't think so, because I tend to question everything, and I'm a true skeptic, and I had to pay a heavy price for that during COVID, by the way. So yeah, someone's mentioning sharp canines. Thank you, homeschoolers. That's what I've been thinking. Homeschoolers. Is it like you don't know what the parents are teaching them? And it will be a handicap if you go through childhood and then enter the adult workforce, so to speak, and you believe in stuff like this. And this is, I don't know. I have no statistics on whether this is very common for homeschoolers, but I would guess that it is. But anyway, let me just respond here. I'll do that very quickly. I have about 5 minutes now. Hello from Mississippi. This way of thinking is very common here. I have no one here who is even remotely interested in pre-Christian culture or philosophy. Thankful for your channel. Well, thank you. Well, that's insane. I mean, if you live in the USA, if I was in the USA, I would be very enthusiastic about pre-European history. I mean, there are those mounds. I would like to see the mounds that have the shape of a snake and all of that. I mean, you have all of that. I mean, come on, it's like, wow. Let's see here. Hi there, Carola. Nutty Christians are out of control. Yes. Yeah, it would be nice if that was the answer concerning these people being removed from nature. I know people who live off the land and still claim to believe this. That's a good point, Kat, there. That's a very good point. I would like to argue that you can do that. You can live off the land and still be disconnected from nature, actually. Because understanding nature is, they do not really understand nature. And maybe that's easier here. I can walk among grave mounds. I can walk among these Bronze Age rock carvings, and the evidence of ancient times are there. But yeah, and Kathy, and it's Montana. We have a small Ark museum with a dinosaur's head sticking out of it, because obviously humans rode dinosaurs. Wouldn't that be cool? That would have been so cool. I want a T-Rex and I want to ride it to the grocery shop. That would have been so cool. And if they recreate the dinosaurs like in those movies, Jurassic Park, I want a dinosaur and it will replace my car and I will be riding my dinosaur. But I think they eat a lot. Light and Night says, yeah, even off grid, you can be cut off from nature. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe a mammoth. That would be cool as well. So, someone draw me riding a T-Rex. Yeah. They found dinosaur tracks in human tracks in Texas. I don't know what you mean, but I'm pretty sure that humans did not live at the same time as dinosaurs. Sometimes I don't know what's irony or but it's crazy, and it needs to stop. And we can laugh at it, but it's actually quite a serious matter. Um, so yeah, stealth mode. Welcome as a supporter and a member to the channel. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I might on this one I might actually have a look at the comment section, because there will be crazy stuff there. Yeah. Okay. So I have to go, but thank you for watching. This was a short and funny live stream. It's like it's insane. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. I'll talk soon.